So the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max have been out for about a month now, and for that last month, I've been using my iPhone 15 Pro Max side by side with my Sony FX3 and A7 IV. Now, I absolutely love my camera gear, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit concerned with how good this is for content creation. So I'm not going to talk too much about the specifications and the design of this because there are some great creators who have already gone in depth on that. I'm going to talk about my real world experiences and why I think that the iPhone 15 Pro or the iPhone 15 Pro Max is an excellent addition to any filmmaker's content creation kit and even a photographer's kit. But I'll talk about the differences between those two in a minute. So around this time last year, I had my iPhone 14 Pro video and I said the cliche statement that still rings true, that the best camera you have is the one that's with you. Now, the iPhone has become a staple for many of us. We always have a phone with us wherever we're going. I think it's great that phone cameras are continuing to improve, as I use mine as a vital part in my content creation kit for whether it's behind the scenes content or just short form content in general. It's been a very important asset for my content creation journey. Now, the iPhone 15 Pro is absolutely no different. In fact, I feel it's going to be an even bigger asset in my content creation kit for one particular reason, and that is log video. What exactly is log? So log is a type of color profile that is very flat and desaturated, but it retains a lot of data and ability to color grade it. And when you're just filming with a phone, it typically films in a Rec 709 color space, which is just a standard saturated everyday videos we're used to seeing. The biggest thing about log format is that it allows you to develop your own color palette and specific color grade to your own editing and shooting style. What log essentially does, no matter what camera brand you have, and I'm saying this on personal experience, I could be incorrect in saying this, but from my experience, I feel like I'm right in saying this, but no matter what camera brand you have, whether it's Sony, Canon, Nikon, if you film in log, you can pretty much get the same colors and same results across the board from all different cameras. And I still have videos that I've made with other different cameras that I still circulate in my own content. So being able to have consistency with my color grading across different cameras is very important. Now, this is where log in the iPhone becomes a game changer, because now I can use my iPhone not just as a behind the scenes content creation device, but I can actually get usable and gradable footage that I'm going to be able to use alongside the footage that I get from my FX3 and my A7 IV. I'm able to have a consistent grade from my iPhone to my FX3. That was an absolute word salad, but hopefully that makes sense as to why I'm so stoked on the iPhone 15 Pro and the log ProRes recording option. Now, there are some downsides to this. A 1 minute ProRes 4K 24 frames per second is 4 gigabytes. So take that into perspective. But my purpose for this device is to use it for some short form content, outdoor scenes, locked off shots, which I've been enjoying doing lately. But those small snippets, they do add up. Although AirDrop is so good, having an external hard drive is probably my recommendation, because then you can just offload all of your content from your, night out shooting or whatever it may be, and not have it kind of getting mixed up with just everyday photos and all of your other, data that you have on an everyday phone. So let's just dive straight into some results. Here are some photos that I've been able to make over the last week with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So to be perfectly honest, I don't see too much difference from the main camera and the ultra-wide camera between the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro. But where it gets really interesting is when you use the 120mm lens and sensor on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is where it truly shines in its improvement. So if you're interested in telephoto or compressed photography, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is absolutely phenomenal. I was completely blown away with some of the photographs that I've been able to make with this 120mm lens. I didn't get too many side-by-side comparisons, but here's one of my favorite comparisons with my A7 IV, and I'll let you be the judge of what you think is better. Quite honestly, the iPhone 15 Pro Max definitely holds its own against this powerhouse of a camera. So all in all, pretty impressed with the 15 Pro Max for photography. Part that I'm most excited about, and that is video. So here are a few examples showing the ungraded iPhone 15 Pro Max ProRes log, and then me applying some of my cinematic LUTs and color grading to the footage. Low light scenes are where we really start to see the iPhone 15 Pro Max struggle. Obviously, we're not going to get as much dynamic range as we would if we were filming in S-Log or C-Log, or particularly if we were using a wide aperture lens. But it's just really refreshing being able to have an artistic look to iPhone footage now without having a degradation of quality. And this is just an example going from the 1x to the 120 millimeters. And here you can see that I didn't turn off the auto white balance, so it does shift in this scene. Here's a little vertical format for you short form content creators. Now, filming in log just gives you so much more latitude. In this scene, it's very high contrast, yet I was able to pull the highlights down and bring all that detail back in the sky, and raise the shadows and bring all that detail in the trail as well. This is also filmed handheld, so it should give you an idea of how good the stabilization is. And this just goes to show how far the technology has come, and I'm just stoked to see what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, I still think we're a ways away off from phones even coming close to the sheer quality that you can get from a cinema camera, but it's really interesting to see how capable they are right now and how we can get that really close color consistency and gradability from something that can literally fit in your pocket. Now let's talk about some limitations. I think the first one I've pretty much already touched upon, and that is storage. That's going to be a huge limitation. But what I tend to do is when I'm done filming, I'll airdrop them to my computer and then store them on my computer, and then I just delete them right off the phone. So I'm not filling up the storage quicker than I should be. The second drawback is heat. Now I say drawback because there have been some reports of overheating online. I personally haven't come across any overheating issues yet. The longest that I've used this for recording in one go is about 7 minutes, and it did get hot to the touch when I took my case off. Hotter than any phone that I've ever used before, and you know, I've used my iPhone 14 Pro in the desert sun in the middle of summer in southern Utah, and that phone gets hot, but this got hotter than that did. So that is definitely a concern. I'm curious to know. I'm not really going to do any tests, but I'm sure they're probably already out there of someone just doing a, straight run of how long it can record in 4K ProRes log before it overheats. So I'll probably go search for that next after this one, but that's definitely going to be a limitation and something to take into consideration. One other drawback that I noticed recently is that it is, at least for me, it's difficult to hold this steady when I'm filming. I feel that my FX3, I'm able to, get a really good kind of close grip, but you can't really do it with this because then the screen is low down. So you kind of have to hold it up here or just have it like eye level. But then I'm just unable to kind of keep it steady. There's not much to hold. So I may see if, I'm paying attention to see if Small Rig come out with a cage for this because they have one for the iPhone 14 Pro, but that's the biggest thing. But the image stabilization is really, really good. And here is a clip that I tested out the other day of me just following my friend, and I'm not trying to, do the ninja walk or anything. I'm just walking normally. And from my opinion, I don't have any comparisons, but I definitely see the image stabilization has improved over the 14 Pro, and it's obviously something, because their sensor is so small, it's something that they can do really well. But if you want the most stable footage, then going with a gimbal for either camera or phone is going to be your best bet. In terms of battery life, I haven't seen any real difference from the 15 Pro Max to my 14 Pro Max that I came from. And I've been using it about the same, but I do often keep my phone charged either at my desk when I'm working, or if I'm driving to location, I will have it charging as well. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about battery life, but I haven't really noticed too much of a difference, and I'm frankly quite surprised because I have been recording in ProRes log a lot more frequently because I have that log format now. I never used ProRes before on the 14 Pro Max. So after all is said and done, is it worth upgrading to the iPhone 15 Pro Max? In a word, yes. If you're a content creator, you really can't go wrong adding the iPhone 15 Pro or the iPhone 15 Pro Max to your content creation kit. For videographers, it's just something that you really cannot overlook. Being able to have consistent color grading and the ability to actually color grade phone footage really takes it to the next level. Now, if you have any questions about what I've covered in this video or something that I haven't been able to cover, as always, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram @JohnnyRoams. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, I'll see you later.